Do you like what you've seen out of the quarterback so far? You're only a couple of days in, but you start to see them really taking hold of the offense. And
I need much more consistency for us at the quarterback position right now. We need to play pitch and catch, and we've missed too many open receivers, and we just have to have better accuracy and better ball location.
How much does it help having the second year in the system to you teaching these guys, or is it offset a little bit with all the people that you have?
No, it's been, we're ahead schematically. As big as anything is the guys, the new players, the newcomers coming in January. We have of the 12 guys we added offensively, 9 of them are here in January. So we only have 3 new guys really come this summer. And so the reps that they were able to get started in January through spring ball has put them far ahead in terms of their understanding of the scheme and understanding of the techniques.
Does that help you get a jump start as far as the beginning of this camp compared to a year ago?
We've been more aggressive with install, and we can move a little more quickly. Again, it's always an adjustment. They've trained hard all year, and one of the things I noticed with practice, starting with practice number 1, is we're in good shape. You know, we talk about making conditioning factor. Our guys battled through the first practice, battled through the second practice, they battled through the third practice. So from a conditioning standpoint, we were effective all summer in terms of preparing the guys. Coach Watson does a great job in the league. But it's always different when you come out on the field. Now you add football shape. You add on the lateral movement, you add change of direction, you add the physicality of practice. So it's just a matter of getting used to that over the course of training.
What do you want to see out of the offense?
I want to see a tough group that plays with great physicality and plays with great chemistry.
Do you think that they grew up any team?
Starting from the day after the season ended, those guys have a really good attitude and they work well together. And I've liked their chemistry all along. Now it's just a matter of, again, getting used to the speed of the game, the technique, the physicality, all those other things.
I guess the progress of an offensive line affect what you do offensively as far as play calling or scheme?
Sure, in the long run it will. You know, again, we're very early in the stages of install right now, but in the long run, we're gonna tailor our offense to our personnel. It doesn't just mean our skill personnel. It starts up front with our offensive line, and you know, that's always a consideration.
Do you think you have a group of tight ends now that gives you a little more versatility and a few more options?
Sure. You know, Daniel Helm and Ethan Wolf have added great depth. Alex Ellis is back, and he's a skilled player and was doing good things last year before he got dinged. Brendan Downs has taken every rep we've asked him. AJ Brandonsell has taken every rep we've asked him. So we now have depth where we can expand from a personnel standpoint. We can expand formationally, and again, we're early in the stages of install, but I like what I've seen from that position group, especially those young guys, and it's exciting to think about the possibilities at our fingertips.
Coach Jones said there were 62 balls that hit the ground Friday. How disappointing is that to you?
That's a trick question. It's very disappointing, but you know, we track everything. Last year, there were 63 balls that hit the ground on first practice.
So you're getting better.
So we're getting better, I guess. And the improvement from practice 1 to practice 2 was drastic. There's only 45 balls on the ground. Okay, so yeah, as we talked about, it starts with the quarterback position, having good ball location, and playing pitch and catch when an open receiver is presented to them. But it goes across the board. We got to catch the balls that hit our hands, and we got to execute the pass game. So sure, 60 was it 63? 62 is too many. But we're improving.
What's an acceptable number?
Oh, I'd like to see it in the 20s. Well, once we get going, that's what it would be.
Did you have many days last year where it was in the 20s?
Sure. As we get into the latter part of training camp, as we get into the season, for sure. Yes, very much so.
Was there any quarterback that you thought was particularly accurate in the first few days of practice?
No, nobody in particular has demonstrated.
Mike, I apologize if you talked about this, but a couple of your guys went over the summer and visited different quarterback coaches. Are you give them your blessing to go and get tutoring from other guys like Whitfield? And
Absolutely. You know, I look back on my quarterback philosophy, you know, and the reality is I didn't invent the position, I didn't invent the mechanics, and I'm a product of the coaches that I played for and the coaches that I've been around. And the language I speak, the coaching points I make from a technical standpoint are a composite of all those coaches, you know? And I understand that there's great coaches everywhere. And if they can go and pick up maybe something that George Whitfield is speaking differently. You know, I know George well. I know a lot of the guys that these guys work with well. When I go out to California recruiting, I go out to lunch with George. I go out to dinner with George, and we talk technique. So I know we're on the same page. But for them, to me, you know, what do we want? We want football junkies. We want guys that want to learn the game, that guys that want to improve. And maybe George has another way of saying something that might click with our guys, which is great. And frankly, if they can bring that, I can learn from that. I'm always looking to develop professionally too. So when they come back from that, I sat down with each one of those guys and I grilled them. Hey, what did we talk about? What did they do? What kind of drills did you do? Because again, the language is diverse. I think technically, we're all talking the same techniques. It's a matter of just how we say it. And I encourage it. You know, again, I'm a product of guys that I've worked for, guys that I've played for, and I know these guys can learn from other guys too.
Having the whole staff back intact, how much does that help in just in terms of getting more up tempo, or does having so many newcomers on the field kind of counteract that?
Well, we placed a big emphasis on it as a staff, as an offensive unit, about moving at a quicker tempo. So I think the emphasis we placed on it has paid dividends. I don't think it's a result necessarily of our staff being intact, and I don't think our young players have hampered us at all in playing with the tempo that we want. Shoot, they're coming in with a clean slate. They know no other way than what we're demanding of them. So they've been able to take it all in and adopt our style of play.
Is there any number you're shooting for in terms of snaps per game or anything like that in that regard? Or?
No, I do track that. I keep track of it. Snaps per game, I think, is a little bit of a deceptive way to keep track of your tempo, because you could be moving really fast, and if you're not efficient and you're not making first downs, what good is it? You know, the reality is you have to make first downs, and you have to be productive on offense in order to accumulate snaps in the course of the game. So as much as anything, to track tempo, I track how quickly are we snapping the ball, and that's where we have a play clock on every play. We have a target time to snap the ball. We track that time every snap in practice, every snap in the game, and we talk about it a lot as a staff and as a unit.
Mike, do you think that the scheme that you run, the zone read, can be effective or can help an inexperienced offensive line?
Absolutely. You know, I think, again, the scheme will be tailored to the personnel. I think they're going to learn the skills that we teach them. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question other than we're teaching them the skills and the techniques that they would need to use in any scheme. You know, whether you're adding the read component of a zone read concept, or you're under center and you're running inside or outside zone, they're going to need to use those same techniques and execute those same plays. So I don't know if the zone read component is necessarily going to help out our offensive line. It just adds an element for the defense to defend.
How much the player staff this year, how did that come together? And is that the first time you guys have started that?
Coach Jones has done that at various points throughout our time together. It's a way to give the players ownership, and it's a way to create an accountability to one another. Obviously, we're going to be demanding as coaches, but they need to be demanding of each other. And you know, it's a group that's elected by their teammates, and so it is constantly changing. You know, we change it seasonally, so guys can develop or guys can kind of fall off of that list.
Did you see improvement from the start of practice today to the finish? It came out a little rough.
You know, we challenged them, so they better respond, and they did respond. But we've been talking a lot about the power of one. You know, one common purpose, one commitment. One game at a time, one play at a time, one snap at a time, you know? And so much of the idea of looking at things one unit at a time is taking advantage of every opportunity that you have to come out and get the most of it. And when you come out and have a slow start, it's an illustration of you not taking advantage of that opportunity. So, you know, it's been a theme of ours all off season, and today we didn't do a good job of that, but again, there's always tomorrow.
How those quarterbacks have a year in the system now? How much should that enable you to go quicker this year?
They're a pretty smart group, you know, and in terms of tempo, I wouldn't say that their experience in the system had or has hampered us in any way over in the past. I think as much as anything, as I mentioned earlier, it's having almost our entire offensive unit here since January that has helped us move faster.
Balls on the ground from the quarterbacks, and Coach Jones talked about that after the first day. What specifically are you seeing from those guys, especially Dobbs and sailing some of these passes?
Sure, there's definitely techniques and mechanics that we're correcting. Part of it is timing with the receivers, with the tight ends, with the running backs. There's a lot that goes into it, and when you have that many balls on the ground, it's usually a combination of all of it. But it does start with the quarterback, his accuracy, his ball location, and that's where we need to improve to start with.
Sorry, the first day Coach Jones said that there were 62 balls on the ground between the receivers and the quarterbacks. Have you seen that improve over the last couple of days?
We had, yes, yesterday we had high 40s, today we were mid 40s. So it has improved. That's still too high. We need to play pitch and catch, and we need to hit the open receiver.
Thanks, guys.